In qualifying one, I knew I was not going to do it well, and this was emphasized by the realization of Codemasters changing the tyre allocation, so I expected to end qualifying alongside Science. After the first runs, this was looking realistic with me in 19th, 1.035 seconds behind first, who I cannot remember. However, back-to-back laps at the end of the session on the only soft lefts, I finished 0.193 seconds behind Norris in first. Qualifying 2 was not much better as I clobbered the wall in Sector 3 and took off my front wing. This meant I was 15th, 2.522 seconds off Norris in first place. However, on the second run I was able to complete both laps without any damage and got through to Q3 in 9th, 0.723 seconds behind Leclerc in first. Qualifying 3 was much of the same, and after the first 2 laps in the first run, I placed a P8, nor 1.334 seconds behind Hamilton in first. However, I really improved on the early laps, but so did everyone else, and I qualified P7, 0.540 seconds behind Hamilton on pole. I knew Monaco was going to be difficult, but that meant a Q1 elimination, so a P7 with no penalties is really good. Hello and welcome to the Monaco Grand Prix. Crofty is out once again, and it is me. Here we are in the Principality, same streets that we have been racing on for a good 70 years now, and it's very little has changed to this iconic circuit. So let's have a look at the circuit. This is a 3.337 kilometer circuit with 19 turns and 1 DRS zone. There is a single speed trap as well out of the tunnel with 19 corners and high elevation change around the casino. So, the grid for the Monaco Grand Prix is as follows. Mercedes lock out the front row with Lewis Hamilton over his new teammate George Russell. Lando Norris ahead of Charles Leclerc in P4 with the Red Bulls in P5 and 6, Verstappen taken ahead. Winter ahead of Vettel in P8, Guan Yu Zhou and Mick Schumacher, two fairly new drivers, ahead of Gasly and Albon. Ocon and Bottas line up next with Magnussen and Sainz. And after Schwartzman and Ricciardo both been at Renault, with Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll rounding off the grid. So as we get ready for the 5 red lights to come on, it's 5 red lights and they're out as away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix. Looks like George Russell gets a poor start and Hamilton takes the lead into turn 1. What about the Williams driver? Looks like he's going to lose out to Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. Yes, he does. Getting ahead into P1 is Lewis Hamilton, however, as the Red Bulls go side by side through Casino. This could be troublesome as Perez gets ahead of his teammate now. And we go down into the first hairpin, I believe it's called Lowe's one. Down the inside goes Winter and takes the Ferrari. No moves into the Fairmont hairpin, no. Everyone's playing it fairly clean for now. As we go through the tunnel, and let's see if anyone can get a good enough drive to make one of the few overtakes that Monaco can bring. As down out of the tunnel, looks like nothing's doing for the Williams driver at least, and in the background nothing else for anyone else. All clean at the moment, no yellow flags as Lewis Hamilton leads Merck 1-2. As we follow Winter now, slowly dropping, slowly gaining on the Red Bull drivers here. Hearing over the radio that he's catching third wind as we head now on to lap 22. The Red Bull drivers gaining away from the Williams now as we go back to lap 21, as he's really close to Max Verstappen now, possibly due to that third wind from these tyres mentioned over the radio, is he closing now? It looks like he's really closing through turn 3. Will he be able to make a move down into the low hairpin? It looks like he's thinking about it. Down the inside he goes, locking up though, and he's made contact into the side of Max Verstappen and lets him go back through. Is there damage there for the Williams? Doesn't look like it, but that could be very costly as he's already falling behind the Red Bull, even though this isn't really an area where the Williams has been falling behind. As down into the middle section chicane, we'll really be able to find out now, as it looks fairly understeery, but as we go through to back, what's the gap? 9/10 going in, and yes, he pits early due to that error by the Williams driver. It has, however, put him behind Sainz, Stroll and Ricciardo. So let's see what he can do from this position. As into the middle sector, let's see, down into Fairmont hairpin. No dive bombs there at the moment, so maybe we'll see this later on in the race when the Williams driver is more confident. But obviously, you'd hope that once he's more confident, he'd be making no overtakes. As we go through the tunnel, he's really close to Ricciardo there, looking like he was trying to go down the outside of him through the tunnel. No, down the inside of turn 11, Ricciardo cuts the chicane, but that doesn't stop Winter from trying to overtake him. And before to back, the fast left-hander, he is upping to P17. Not the highest of positions, but it'll do for now. As we head towards lap 26. Now he's going to go down the inside of Lance Stroll. He's not too close to him through Saint Lavat, but you know, he has been fairly quick through turn 3. If you watch on board now, he's closing in a lot through here. Will he be able to make a move down into the Lowe's hairpin? Will he be able to pull it off? Stroll locks up, as you can see there. No contact at the moment as they go through the Fairmont hairpin. Stroll nicely backs out to avoid any contact. That's how you make an overtake down the inside of the hairpin. So yeah, doing best of both worlds. Not really best of both worlds. Showing people how to do it and how not to do it. As the Red Bulls have already boxed and Max is well clear of the Williams driver here. Got Schwartzman and Sonoda ahead of him. As we go to lap 27 now. Following behind his teammate is the Williams driver. Hopefully, for his sake, he can get past him quite quickly. Team orders possibly could be at play at Monaco, where the circuit, where overtaking is really difficult, as seen by lap 21 by the Williams driver. But at the moment he's made 2 clean overtakes. Is he about to make a third one coming out of the tunnel? He's going to go down the inside of the Novell chicane. That's what it's called, down the inside. Sainz has to cut the corner, but the Williams driver is going to go round the outside of his teammate into the back. Please don't go side by side through here. Yes, they do, but Sainz nicely backs out, allowing Winter to take priority through the corner, as he was slightly ahead, I believe, but he didn't have to back out. But it could have been a big crash if he kept on in there. But the Williams driver now up to P11, possibly P7, 8 after the pit stops, as Sebastian Vettel has jumped in. 9 seconds, 10 seconds, the gap is growing to the Ferrari driver there. 16, and he is in for another pit stop. Lap 53. Is he going to get out ahead of Schwartzman? He would dearly love to. One less overtake to get back into the points paying position of P8, and yes, he does. Back to P15 now. Let's see, he's got 7 overtakes to make to get back where he was in a reasonable amount of time, 25 laps, so more than doable. As we head on to lap 54 now, as he's closed in quite a bit on Gasly. Not the progress that he possibly would have liked, but it's good enough for now. It should get him to the end of the race, although we have been hearing over the radio that he mainly to save fuel, so lift and coast. So maybe he can do that in this train, but at the moment, I'm sure he'd love to get to the front and then hold everyone up, because obviously Monaco is difficult to overtake. So if you want to go slow, you go slow at the front of a train, not the rear of the train. As you go looking at the rear of the train now, down into the Nouvelle chicane, down the inside goes once again Winter, and Gasly again, like every other driver, cuts the chicane, but this time no side by side through to back. So next up, Kevin Magnussen. Kevin Magnussen may give more of a fight to the Williams driver here, as we all know Kevin's not afraid to make some contact and receive the meatball flag. And recently, looking at Winter's form in Championship 59 and Championship 19 and 39, Winter's not afraid to make contact and get the meatball flag himself, although normally it doesn't result in a meatball flag, it results in a DNF. This time down the inside, once again, no contact, but as we go through to back, there is contact as Winter cuts across towards Magnussen, and there was a puff of smoke. I don't think the stewards will look at it, but if Magnussen's losing time and has to come into the pits because of this, they're probably going to have to look at that. As no, Magnussen is fine to continue. That was a little bit dodgy there from the Williams, as he was on the inside and then cuts towards the Haas on the outside there, as we jump ahead to lap 57. Now behind the Haas teammate of Mick Schumacher. Schumacher been fairly crash prone as well, so these two could be fairly problematic when it comes to the overtake. Down to the low hairpin, Winter does seemingly make a mistake, as he was really close heading into Casino Square, but has to back out, loses time through turn 4, gains a lot through the Fairmont hairpin. Had a look to go around the outside as he loses the rear end once again. Coming out of turn 8, heading into the tunnel. Is he going to make a dive down into the Nouvelle chicane? Not quite. So we go to lap 58 instead. Monaco is not really easy to overtake, but Winter showing here when you are one of the quickest. Although he downplays himself quite a lot. I hate saying this. I should really get someone else to do this for me. As down into the inside goes the Williams driver, Schumacher locking up, giving him the pass there. So yeah, it's really easy to make a progress through the field when the other drivers literally hand you positions, like Schumacher just did then. As Winter will hopefully I don't like saying that. I don't like saying my own name. Hopefully the Williams driver, hopefully Bottas, Zhou, Ocon and Albon will make similar mistakes. As we go towards lap 59 now, heading onto the back of Bottas in the Alfa Romeo. The Williams driver used to be in Alfa in Championship 19. Was that a better season than he's having so far? As towards the inside of the Lowe's hairpin he goes down the inside, no lockup from Bottas, but it is very close between the two, and there could have been contact, but at the moment all seems fine, and almost getting beached on the inside apex curb there, but it's all fine for the Williams driver, and now he can push along, try and get Bottas' teammate Zhou Guanyu, and looking on board the dash there, fuel seems fine from this angle, but yeah, you could see on the Delta that this train is really holding him up compared to his fastest lap. I'm sure he would love to have been on the back of Vettel, but now 7th place belongs to Hamilton, making a pit stop, I presume, as one of the only drivers to make 2 pit stops in this race, it seems, as through the Casino Square, down the inside of the Lowe's hairpin goes Winter, but he locks up, Is there contact? It doesn't seem like it, as he goes now into the points for the first time, for the third time this race. Could have been contact, but it looks fairly clean from the Williams driver there. Making a lot of mistakes, it seems, in Monaco. He has been very vocal around this weekend that Monaco is not his favourite circuit, and only does it because it's stupid to sit out just a single race, which you can agree with, but if you really hate Monaco that much, you might as well just sit out. But obviously when you could get some good points down the inside though, however, it goes the Williams driver into Raskas, losing the rear end, but gets Ocon, and it's not a Monaco Grand Prix without a Raskas dive bomb. What a move that was. Very eager on the rear end, but now he chases after Alex Albon to put him back in the position he would have been. But very vocal about hating Monaco, and good positions are up for grabs. Good points are up for grabs, and the Williams driver has been lacking some points at the moment, so 4 points would not go amiss. As he goes into the wall, however, and takes off his whole front wing. That is not good, and that has caused a virtual safety car, I believe. As yes, it has. Not a full one, however, so Winter must box this lap. The AI front runners are coming to lap these guys, so it will end the Williams driver's race. However, so that's such a silly mistake from him. Just turns in too early and hits the wall. It's so frustrating to watch, but what's even more frustrating is he's not come into the box, and he's stayed out. He's stayed out. Why has he stayed out? As we get a radio message, he thought it was a safety car. Wow. So miscommunication there from the team, as his engineer tells him that it was a safety car and not a virtual safety car. So would that have anything to do with the strategy? Yes, it would, because the safety car would pick up the leader as wide goes through the Nouvelle chicane. Is that going to allow Ocon to get past him? Yes, it is. He's not going to salvage any points now, as Lando, if it was a safety car and he stayed out, Lando would not have lapped Winter, and he could have got some points. So very unfortunate there from the Williams driver, who peels into pit lane finally to retire from the race, as he sees no point in continuing, as he was not going to get any points. As we have a look at highlights from now. So, on board the Williams driver here, this will be a replay of the incident with Magnussen. So, just following off the back of him, going through the turn 8, very close to him, closer than normal, 3/10 in fact, as we go through towards Nouvelle chicane. Dive bomb range, 2/10 as they get into the chicane. Very close there, not really leaving him any room, but it just goes to back. It doesn't even look like anything. It just moves over, and unfortunately there was contact, and hopefully it didn't cause Magnussen any too much damage, as we go to have a look at his replay, his onboard. Haas drivers, I don't think they've had the best of luck through this season yet, but keep knocking on the door of the edge of the points, and they will eventually get some. As is a Nouvelle chicane. Yeah, the Williams driver just comes out of nowhere there, and towards the back they go. He just moves over, and slight bit of contact as we go to have a look at a slow-mo replay. Just the it looks very close. So just waiting for another on board. There's Gasly. He seems a little bit far back to try and watch what goes on, but the battle through Nouvelle Chicane will tell us everything. As they climb in, and then Winter just moves over and collide with Magnussen. And news just in, stewards have deemed it a racing incident. So, what's this then? This is a dive, the Raskas dive bomb on Ocon. So, let's have a look here and marvel that this overtake down the inside goes in, and he locks up and makes contact with him. So it wasn't as clean as we all thought, and the Williams driver does make contact with Ocon there. As we go on board with Bottas to hide the Ocon replay for realism, because you can't pinpoint to a specific point. Down into Raskas, not really any contact from Ocon's side. So yeah, it was actually quite clean on board Ocon. So stewards deemed it a racing incident as well. The formation lap was okay, and the grid placement was alright with a green. The temperatures were hard to get up as the circuit is very short. The start was poor and I dropped behind Vettel. However, into the first hairpin, I dived down the inside of Vettel, taking back P7. The next 20 laps were full of closing in and falling back from Verstappen every so often. However, this ended and ruined my race when I eventually thought Max was holding me up. I decided to dive bomb him into the first hairpin, but with the bumpy circuit I did not account for the uneven circuit. This meant I locked up and we collided into the Red Bull. I gave myself damage and boxed 2 laps early from the hards. However, this did not change my strategy. After this, I fell behind Stroll, Ricciardo and Sainz, of whom I should have got out ahead of if I did not break my front wing. I soon got past them, but this came at the expense of falling behind Vettel on track again. This gap between us was somewhat around 7 seconds, but it started to fall. This, however, came at the expense of floor damage from the turn 11 and turn 16 apex claps. The gap then began to increase until my second pit lap on lap 52. This pit stop put me behind Albon, Ocon, Zhou, Bottas, Schumacher, Magnussen and Gasly, leaving me P15. So from lap 54 to lap 60, I slowly but surely overtook everyone, as I was the only two-stopper, it seems. Lap 54, I got Gasly out of the tunnel. Lap 55, I got Magnussen out of the tunnel and into the back, with some racing incident contact after I slowly came across his path. I deemed it a racing incident, so no penalties. Lap 58, I got Schumacher into the first hairpin, showing my earlier self how to do an overtake down the inside of the hairpin. Lap 59, I got Bars down the inside of the first hairpin once again. Lap 60, I got Zoe down the inside of the hairpin for the 5th time this race, I believe. This same lap, I tried a Raskas overtake on Ocon, and with some light contact, I got him. Now into P9. Lastly, I had Albon, but for some stupid reason, I kept wanting to make a clean Raskas overtake in this race. This led to me losing 2 seconds to him, but I needed to save fuel, so I took this opportunity to do so. But losing concentration, I hit the apex barrier and sheared my front wing off at the first hairpin. Mark told me there was a safety car, however, as the race lead was so close, I decided to try and cheat the system So I got ahead of the lap cars by pitting 1 lap later once the safety car had actually caught up Norris. However, it was the only a VSC, and I earned myself a drive-through when speeding through the tunnel. So I gave it up. I was not getting points, and I retired the car at the end of lap 68.